Happy Saturday. Today's what, the 3rd? Yeah, the month is flying, right? Today's one of those very, very windy days in Toronto. Like, it's raining, but it's very, very extremely windy. But it's better than snow. I don't like the snow. I never get used to the snow. But anyway, we're here. We're indoors. We've got some warmth. So welcome to this is the 4th mastermind that we're doing. And for those who don't know, I'm just waiting for Wemi to join. She's stuck somewhere, running some errands. But yeah, just a little bit about what the mastermind is. So we created this platform to be able to help people, support people on their journey. Like, the last couple of years have not been easy, and people have struggled to achieve their goals or even figure out what their goals are. And we've come to the end of another year. And as with most end of year, before people start making all their resolutions, end of year is usually a time to reflect and kind of take stock of what were the things that you wanted to do this year that you thought would bring you joy. Because sometimes you decide to do certain things and halfway through the year, you're like, okay, this is not for me. I really don't care about this. And you need to drop it. And that's fine too. But what are some of the things that you really wanted to do that for some reason you were not able to do? And maybe it was just you needed someone to talk to, or you needed some guidance, or you needed some support, or you just needed someone to be able to connect the dots for you. So that's why we created this platform, so that people can share whatever it is that they're working on, ideas that they have that they don't know how to take to the next level, or maybe some challenges that they've some roadblocks that they've hit on their journey to achieve their goals, and we might have some help, or somebody in the audience might have help as well. So as usual, if you're interested in coming on stage, feel free to request to join the conversation, and you can tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and whatever the challenge you're going through, and we'll be happy to listen to you and support you. And again, people in the audience are also welcome to support you as well and give their comments, put comments in the chat. If there's something that they know that might be able to help whoever is speaking, go ahead and do that. So while we're just waiting for people to join, something happened to me maybe 5-6 days ago, on Monday. So I went to my friend's house, one of my good friends. Like, we've been friends for a very, very long time. And when she saw me, she was like, oh, where are you coming from? Because it was like 7 p.m. at night. She made me some pepper soup. And so I went to pick it up. She was like, why are you so dressed up? Where are you coming from with all this makeup? And I'm like, I have no makeup on. And she was like, of course you have makeup on. So I'm there, I'm like wiping my face. I'm like, I have zero makeup on. She was like, what? You have no makeup on? And, you know, at that moment in time, it didn't really register. But one of my goals for this year in particular, because last year I really wanted to create a lot of videos. I wanted to be able to go live. But I found, shockingly, to my personal disappointment, that what was standing in the way of me making videos and being more out there was just the time it took me to get ready. Like, I would worry about my hair, spend God knows how long on my hair, then I start with the makeup and many layers of foundation required just to kind of hide some of the flaws that I had. Again, don't judge me, you know, whatever. It is one of my insecurities. So you want to look good on camera. And I'm sure a lot of women struggle with this, because I've heard people say, oh, I don't want to go on camera. I can't create videos because, you know, I need to get ready. I need to look good. I need to do that. And so that became a blocker for me. And that was my great excuse. It just takes me too long to get ready. By the time I'm ready, you know, I'm so busy. I don't have time to create videos. And so one of the things I wanted to do this year was, look, how can I reduce the amount of effort and time that is taking me to get ready to do videos or to go live? And so the first thing I did, I had to be honest with myself. I was like, okay, if you don't make it a priority, then nothing's going to happen. Like, some people have great skin, they're just lucky like that. Well, you know, I don't have extremely bad skin, but my skin was just not, it wasn't uniform. Like, there's a lot of, you know, skin discoloration or whatever. But I didn't really have bad acne or any of that, no. But I just always had to use layers of foundation to feel okay with myself. And so I decided, okay, for 2022, I'm going to make my skin a priority, because at the end of the year, I want to be able to go on air, go live without requiring too much makeup. So that's the first thing I did. I made it a priority, and I decided to think about ways. What can I do to limit the amount of time? So typically I would spend about an hour and a half just to do my full makeup, which is a lot of time, to be honest. So I wanted to really reduce that to the barest minimum. So I said, okay, I've never been one to go for facials or like see a dermatologist. I still have never seen a dermatologist, no shame. But I never used to go for facials. I never used to care about my skin. I didn't have a facial routine, absolutely zero. I just wake up, whatever, and just go put the layers of foundation and I'll be good. And so I started to be more intentional, taking care of my skin. I started to go for facials. I started to kind of listen to the recommendations at the parlors, and my skin started to get better, but I didn't really realize how much better the skin was getting. I wasn't really paying too much attention. I was still slapping on my makeup and whatever. But I knew that my skin was getting better because I felt like it was glowing a bit more, and then I didn't have to use as much makeup. Then I thought, okay, what else takes me time to do? And I figured that was my eyebrows. I was like, okay, let's go do the eyebrows. Let's go fix microblading. Let's go fix his eyebrows. Get that out of the way. So I did. I went and got my eyebrows done, so I never have to do my eyebrows again. So that was fantastic. But I was still using a lot of makeup, still having to put a lot of foundation and all of that. And so last week when my friend said to me when I had no makeup on, she was like, what? You have no makeup on? It finally hit me that 1 year of really paying attention to my skin, of really being intentional, getting the help, getting rid of some of the many things I used to put on my face, and just really taking care of my skin has led me to this point where now it takes me, I'm not kidding you, it takes me less than 10 minutes to get ready. Some days, weekdays, it takes me 2 minutes to get ready because I do nothing. I put lip gloss on and I'm ready to go. And I just think that a lot of the time we don't celebrate such accomplishments because it's not $1 million. It's not a promotion at work. It's not a new, you did not sign on a new 6 new clients. A win is a win. A win is a win. So whatever your goals are, you need to celebrate the goals. I wasn't really tracking. I knew my skin was getting better, but I wasn't really tracking it. So maybe I could have done a bit better tracking it. But now that I've hit the outcome, I'm super pumped. I'm super proud of what I've been able to accomplish with my skin this year. And so I want to encourage everybody, because we all have wishes, and wishes are just like, oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. It's not going to happen if you do nothing about it. So you have to be intentional about it. You have to say, okay, so for this year, I want to lose weight. That's always one of my goals. It happens up and down, but still, I'm not too serious about it. So yeah, I'm to blame. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to travel. Yes, it's good to wish, but if you don't set a goal and be intentional about it and really take the steps to make it happen, the chances are it's not going to happen. I know people who say to me every year, oh, I'm going to travel this year. Still haven't traveled. 6-7 years on, they still haven't traveled. And when he asks them why would you, oh, I don't have time, or it's too expensive, or I don't know where to go, or I heard that this, or COVID, whatever it is, excuses. Whatever it is that you really want to do, you have to have a plan around it. You have to be ready to put in the work. And sometimes the work just means doing some research or calling people who travel, or say, hey, look for travel buddies who will plan the whole trip, and all you need to do is just pay for your ticket. And if you pay early enough, we all know I'm a constant deal seeker. If you pay early enough, you will get great deals on travel. Travel is not as expensive as people think it is. So if it's something that you want to do in the new year, set that intention today that, look, I want to travel to 2-3 countries, whatever it is. I want to be able to go to a beach resort, or to go to an adventure, whatever it is, go to a safari, and then do the work, do the research, start looking at things way ahead of time, looking for the deals, researching on all the reviews, because you just don't want to go to any crappy place and then you're like, I knew I shouldn't have gone. I said it, this travel thing maybe wasn't really for me. So anyway, I just thought I'll share that story about my skin and how, something that I was intentional about. I did set it as a goal this year. And now it's a lot easier. It's such a burden off my shoulder, because now I'm not like having to spend an hour, 2 hours trying to prepare to go live or to record a video. Now it's a lot easier for me. So what goals have you set for this year that you've accomplished? Maybe they were small goals. Maybe there are things that you're like, maybe just subconsciously, it'll be nice to do this. And then now you've actually actualized the goal. You want to take stock of that. You want to celebrate it. You want to celebrate your small wins, your big wins, whatever wins. A win is a win is a win, in my book anyway. So you need to celebrate it. Okay. So that's my first story for today. While we see I'm going to see if I can find Baby. Welcome. This is the Mastermind, the free virtual mastermind, where we help you activate your goals and help you really walk through some clarity. I remember, hi, your daddy 302. If you do have anything, any goals that you're working on or things that you want help with, feel free to join. So again, the goal is to talk about some things that you're working on, things that you want some help with.
Hello, ladies John.
Hello.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Okay, so we have crazies in
Motherfucker. Mother chod. Kaboos दिखाओ.
You know, I've heard of those things happening, but I've actually never seen it before. That was too funny. That was too funny. I was just like, oh shit, please don't get undressed before I can kick you out of the room. Oh my God, this is what happens on the internet. But anyway, good that we got rid of him quickly. So again, this is the free mastermind. We're helping people, helping you really look at your goals for 2020 to 2022 and maybe talk about your goals for 2023, the things that you want to accomplish, things that you've always dreamt of but you didn't know how to get started. There just might be somebody on here who can help you achieve your goals. We want to make sure that you don't have to do things alone. You don't have to suffer in silence. The goal is to help and support as much as we can. Well, I see that Gbemi is online. I don't know if she is ready to join, but hola.
Hola. Sorry I'm late. It has been an absolute shit show fighting the weather conditions outside and trying to make my appointment.
It's very windy. It's extremely windy.
I know what I weigh, and that thing could have blown me away. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Seriously. I don't know. There's the wind warning, isn't there?
There's a what?
Wind warning.
Oh, was there? Okay, I didn't get that.
Yes. Yeah, I've been receiving the wind warning since last night. Actually, it was saying to me that, oh, you're driving somewhere where there's a wind warning 47 kilometers away, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's closer to home now than that at the moment. Oh, okay. The things you do for family and friends, really, when you make a commitment, it's one of those things. I'm sorry, I'm just jumping in. I can imagine that nobody has raised their hand yet, guys. Joan and I
we had some. I don't know what he was. Some whatever raised his hand, and I added him, and he was trying to get undressed.
What?
I don't know. There's crazies on the internet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that would have been an interesting way to start the weekend.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So I think we need to say that if you're going to come on, please be properly dressed. And this is not supposed to be only fans or something that, or something that is supposed to entice people. I know we did say that, you don't have to be perfect, but at least putting on clothing is not being perfect. It's just having clothing on. Decency. And it's funny, I was just thinking about it that, last night, I had to do some work on a commitment I made early this week, and basically kept me till about 1:30 a.m., 1:40 thereabout, and then had to go drop a friend who was visiting. And I said to myself, how am I going to make all of these things work? Because this commitment I made for today was supposed to be 12:30 Nigerian time, which is 6:30 a.m. our time. Ooh. So you can imagine that I have been up, had my presentation, did what I committed to do, since that particular time, but then had to run another errand on another commitment. And I got there and they were taking forever to do what I thought was going to take about 20 minutes. It ended up taking almost 40 minutes. And I said to myself, all these commitments you make, why are you making this commitment? Well, the thing is, once you make those commitments, doesn't matter what the idea was in the moment, you have to live into it. You have to deliver against what you have actually said. And that brings me to my experience this week with the Gen Zs that make commitments and do not show up.
Okay. But speaking about commitments, there was something that Adam Grant posted this morning, and he said it was something around people changing their mind. And he said, you can change your mind. It's lack of, but at the point where you made the commitment, it was based on what you knew to be true at that point in time.
At that time, yes.
If things have shifted, please shift. Like no one's going to die. you know, no one is gonna die. And I see a lot of people get burned out because they're constantly taking on more than they can chew. So all ye over deliverers, all you overachievers, taking on way more than you can chew. Stop it. Let that be one of your New Year resolutions. Calm down. Just commit to 60% of your capacity. Don't commit to 100%, because always things will always come up, and then you're like, oh my God, but I already committed to that. But I already committed to that. And me now these days, sometimes I look at a commitment like, okay, at that point where I committed, yeah, I thought I could do it. Like if things have shifted, things have shifted. Like if no one's dying, that's okay. It's fine. We can do it some other time or whatever. If it's critical, then I'll just prioritize. I'm like, okay, so I have these two major things to do. I need to pick one. Which one is of higher importance? And that's it. But all ye overachievers, and I'm looking at you, baby. All ye overachievers, biting off more than you can chew.
Oh so my God!
Calm down for 2023.
No, that is definitely two things for me. 2022 is that whole committing thing. And just saying, I'm sorry, no, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but no, thank you. And like you said, I'm one of those people that I'm a stickler for. If I give you my word, I believe you can take it to the bank. I will deliver against it. But then I'm beginning to see, like you said, people just change their minds, and I'm thinking, but you gave your word. As in, like, seriously, this is the gravity of it. So I think in 2023 for me, I think I'll start with the no's. And then if they can make a case for it, then I would probably say, okay, let me see how I can make it happen or not. Because I tend to, if I say no, it's no, I've moved on. But if I say yes, no matter when it was when I said yes, I try to deliver or leave against that. And you're right, sometimes it can really stretch you. Like today, it's really stretching me. It is. These glasses are mainly to cover the fact that, you know what, you're driving when we're going because I'm sleeping. Just okay, heads off, because I need a nap. So basically, in that kind of sense, so that's one for me for 2022. I think 2023. The other thing for me, 2023 is really more around the energy and just tapping in and tapping out. So what I mean by that is, for some of you, it might not make much sense, but what I mean by that is I've been doing a lot of work around how much of my energy I give to certain things, certain emotions, and just be more aware of it and making sure that I can manage it. Everything is from within. But I found out that this week, due to my experience with the Gen Zs that nobody actually warned me about, I actually, I felt my energy, my aggression and my irritation really just increased because I wasn't expecting it. And then at the end of the day, I had to take a step back to say, all this work I had done in the last few weeks, these people have just used this 1 week to literally almost drain it. But then I had to say to myself, nobody can drain it. You give that power away. So, that whole tapping in and tapping out, that's what I mean. Staying more in that awareness, because this week was a tough week for me. There were expectations. I had put in so much work over the last 3 weeks, getting somebody on board and thought everything was nailed down. I agreed. And then I showed you the messages, like the last minute cancellation. And so that was a learning for me. And that made the week tougher than it ought to be, because I was going into the week thinking I was going to get support. This was going to be this new experience, and this was going to be, onboarding in a sense. And then when that didn't happen, the disappointment of that, the anger with which, or the irritation with which they handled it, the way they handled it also, increased. And then when I sat down, I was just so tired and asked myself, where did my energy go? And I realized that it was all of these emotions that I wasn't, I just wasn't aware of. I wasn't in a space of awareness. And so for me, I will continue to work in 2023 to just being more aware of and refusing to give that power away. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, just pull myself back to say, listen, I am not going to give that power away. And that's a big thing for me in 2023. So those two things, the no first, as well as not giving my power away. I think I have now a little more, when we're talking about work, in this session, so talking about people looking for work and how a good job might be hard to find. Sometimes people don't want to pay you. And I thought, when people look for work, they really look for work. But I'm beginning to learn that actually it depends. And I don't want to be, ageist or anything, but I'm not actually going to take into consideration the age range of people just to see where their mindset is at. Because my experience this week has told me that our generation and this generation are very different in prioritizing, in even how they manage relationships. And I think I just didn't see that. I just didn't see that coming. So yeah, anyway, that's me done.
So lots of lessons to unpack if you wanted to unpack it, but I just want to talk to everybody who's just joined. if you want to come on the stage to talk about what your goals were, some help that you need, or some things that you want to do for 2023, and you just want to share what your experiences have been, or if there are things that you know about yourself. So like Baby is being very vulnerable and really sharing some of the, what we call weaknesses. I don't believe in that word, but what we call weaknesses, some things that she really wants to focus on for next year. Then please come and share with us, because we want to hear, and we all want to learn from it. But you know, just to go back to what you were saying and the stories that you were telling about your week. So disappointment, because a lot of time, and I'm going to talk about it from a weight loss journey. I know that why I've struggled with my weight for 30 years now is because I always get disappointed. Like I get pumped and I'm like, okay, if I do this diet and I do this workout, then I'll lose the weight. And the moment I'm not getting the result, that's it. I'm disappointed and I'm so angry. Then of course, when you're angry, you eat more, you bring out the chocolate, bring out the ice cream. So how can people deal with disappointment? It's this very super high expectation, especially when it has to do with somebody else. You can barely control yourself. Imagine now trying to control somebody else. So you're like, you have this super high expectation. All this is going to be beautiful. They're going to show up. We're going to work together. And then crickets, disappointment. How do you deal with that? How do you protect yourself? Because your energy is so key. How do you protect yourself to make sure that when disappointment comes, you're able to separate? Because you need a gap. You need a gap. Throw yourself with all your emotions into disappointment, because it'll just consume you. So how do you create that gap between you and the situation that's just happened, and be like, okay, this has happened, no fault of mine, because some people start blaming this. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, I shouldn't have bothered interviewing this person. Oh, I should have known better.
I went through that, because I went through the fact that, let's face it, I had 40 resumes. I picked these 4 people. What did I miss? You know, I started going through that in my head, and I had to take a step back to say, listen, this is not on me. They feel like good, and then maybe they don't feel up to it. Maybe they're afraid of the opportunity themselves, and they don't feel up to it. And so that's on them and not on me. But like I said, I had gone through it in the moment, not being aware of my reaction. And it was only after I took a step back to actually say, why am I feeling this way? And to reassess that, I realized where the leaks were. Well, always about energy leaks, where the leaks were during the week and what they were tied into. And I had to ask myself, this is not about you. You gave a very good opportunity. You took through the right process. You offered to pay more than they probably would have expected, you know. And so there's something that you could have done any differently. It's just not right for them, and you should move on. And that has been so freeing, you know, for me, you know, in the last 24 hours or so, because it was a tough week.
Yeah. So maybe let's push it a little bit further, because absolving yourself from blame is a good step. Is the first really big step, because a lot of people just fall into that. What could I have done? Yada, yada, yada. There's nothing you could have done. So now the second step is, but why did this happen? So there are 2 schools of thought, right? Life is either happening to you or life is happening for you. I believe that everything is happening for me. Like nothing is working against me.
Same.
So the next step now, okay, so why did this happen? And if I believe that everything is working for my good, it means that this happened for a good reason. For a good reason. So how can you be still enough to realize, because when you're emotionally charged, or that anger and frustration, you really can't see what the universe, God, or whatever is trying to show you from this experience. You're so angry, you're blaming the other person. No, it's on them. You're the one that doesn't say, well, so what about you though? Why did this happen? And what were you supposed to learn from this experience?
And that's a very good question. And I think I'm probably going to take that one away and still think through it. One of the things that's happened on the back of this, though, is I think there might be somebody out there who is so heightened in their vibration about the work that they want. And maybe the universe is just moving things around. Like, you know, you move mountains to make this happen for that person. Because one of the things that's come out on the back of it is somebody gave me 2 other people. And one of them, I had a call with her instantly. We were talking through some of the pieces. And I ended up coaching her because she wanted to leave where she was to come and join me. But I said to her, "You want to what do you say your goal is?" She said, "I want to be an architect." I said, "Darling, my world is financial services. Yeah. I know you're not happy where you are, but you're working in a construction company. That fits into your big picture. Let's talk about how it fits and how you need to change your perspective on taking the lessons from there and how that fits into your big picture so that you can leverage your opportunities in that particular space." I never met that person before, but on the back of having a conversation and seeing her resume and all of that, we ended up going into a bit of a coaching spirit. She was like, "I'm really grateful. I don't even know you. I know you just called me about this role, but you really helped to set my perspective." I thought that person, I don't know what they're going through, but they needed that conversation. So I needed to have that conversation. The second person right? Randomly, I called and we were just talking, and she was like, I don't even know the name of the person that you're saying gave you my resume. But, I can't remember his last name either, but, I think you might know his brother, you might know his this. She said, okay, doesn't even matter. This is just really exciting for me right now. And I asked her, okay, so where are you? What are they paying you? And actually she's trying to find her way through where she is, they're paying like $18 an hour. Like, and it's just a placeholder. So when I was talking to her, she was just really excited to say, "Can I come in on Monday to have a face-to-face chat and stuff?" I said, "Yes, let's see on Monday. Let's talk about this, blah blah, and let's see where this takes us to." But as I stepped away, like you said, I was thinking maybe these people are the reason why they needed this connection with me, and so I'm just putting myself out there to serve. Because I could have said, okay, you're not right, bye-bye. But I'm putting myself out there to serve in the moment. And even when I connect to them, even if it's not my role, whatever it is for that reason that I need to be in their life in that moment, I'm willing to deliver against it. And that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes things happen to you for someone else's benefit.
Exactly.
God's going to use us. So it's just being open to being used and not being too hung up on what's not happening to you. You might, whatever you're going through for somebody else's benefit.
Yeah.
So we're still open to people. If you want to talk to us about what's going on in your life, some of your exciting goals for next year, some of the things that you did for 2022 that you're proud of. I spoke to them about my skin for this year. I didn't realize that my skin had gotten so good until Joy mentioned it on Monday. She's like, "Oh, why are you wearing so much makeup?" And I was like, "I'm not wearing any makeup." She's like, "What?" And she was like, I was like, "There's no makeup." She was like, "Oh my God, your skin is looking great." I was like, "Oh my God." And that was one of my goals for this year, really.
Really nice.
Yeah,
nice.
because for me, and just to reiterate, so for me, last year I wanted to. So 2 years ago, I said I'm going to create lots of videos last year, But then I didn't create so many videos. Like I panicked every time I had to go online, go on air. And part of the problem was because I had to spend all this time making up, doing my hair and all this nonsense to prepare. Yeah, and then of course that became the excuse why, because it takes me so long, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I can't go live, I'm afraid of videos. Because we tell ourselves all this stories, I don't like doing videos here. But anyway, it was taking me like an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get ready to shoot a 2-second video. Very annoying. And so one of the things I had said for this year was like, I'm not going to waste my time doing all this makeup and spend all this God knows how long preparing. And as you know, one of the first things that I did this year, minus starting to go for facials, because I never used to go for facials, was I got my eyebrows done. So got the eyebrows permanently done, because that was work. That was like 30 minutes from my makeup routine gone. Thank you very much. So took care of the eyebrows and then started taking care of the skin. And so now I don't wear any foundation anymore. And I just find that making up now is just so easy. It's like 5-10 minutes and I'm done. Boom, done. Good to go. And so I was just celebrating that as one of my wins for this year, because I didn't really realize I did set it as a goal, but I was like, we forget, we think it's too small. But it was a win for me, and it has helped me. Now I don't panic too much before I do videos. Like I'm just like, go online, whatever, it's fine. But I know that last year and 2 years ago, makeup, foundation, gotta be perfect. The eyebrows, they don't look alike. You're like, why? This is up, this is down, and people don't really care. But we get so hung up on these small things, these really, this inconsequential things, and you let that hold you back from the bigger picture, from the bigger things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
And I think for as long as we don't reflect on why are we not doing the things that we know we really want to do, you need to get to the bottom of it. Why are you not doing it? Because we know what we want, largely, to a large extent. A lot of people, we know what we want. We know what we want to do in life. We know the kind of lifestyle we want to live. We know the kind of companies we want to work in. We know how we want to look in our clothes. We have an idea of what we want to do with our lives, but we're not doing it.
It's they say that the part of you that knows the right thing to do and the part of you that does the right thing are two different parts. It's just the truth. But Proctor says you already have in you everything you need to get you where you need to go.
Yep.
And you also know everything you need to do to get there. It's just the part of it that gets to the doing is just so different from all the parts of it that knows. And I think, again, it's that space of self-awareness and just being able to say, okay, what am I doing everything that is contrary to? And sometimes one of the things that happens with me is I want to get something done. And at the subconscious level, maybe I'm just afraid. I have this fear or whatever it is in my back of my mind about doing that thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not watching TV. I'm busy with everything else but that thing. I'm busy with everything else on
Yep.
my list
Yeah.
but that thing. And it's a form of procrastination in itself because
Oh, yes.
you can do all this long list of things that you want to do, but at a subconscious level, every time you want to address the situation or this thing, you think, oh, maybe we can do this one first, I'm coming. And then you never actually get it done. So the different ways where we play avoidance game, with ourselves and I think I came to a place of, okay, I know that this is what I'm doing. And I stayed back and I started laughing at myself. You're at it again, avoiding, busy with everything else. So I said that, I said, I'm doing nothing else until this is done. But it takes a level of you being aware of that, knowing that, and being able to actually also challenge yourself in that moment to laugh it off and then try to address, the situation. I don't know. It's a weird human phenomenon, but at the same time, we have full control over it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just how it is.
Yeah.
I want to just say something out there right now. I know Joan and I come up here and we talk about, oh, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And many times, oh, well, a lot of the times, people don't come up, we don't talk about anything. Some of you, hi, Tosin. I want to hear from you actually. And sometimes people actually are confused. They might have a number of things. Those over
Achievers.
not even overachievers. Don't leave us. Not only overachievers, but those people that are multi-talented. And they always feel like when they do one thing, they are letting down everything else. So they never actually pick one thing to do. So they're moving from pillar to post. I'm quite good at this. Yeah, I'm also good at this. Oh, but I also want to do something in that particular area. And many times they have so many balls up in the air and not able to really juggle it accordingly. And every time they pay attention to one for 7 days, they feel like, oh, they're letting down the other pieces. And so they keep going back and forth in that particular space. I know people, and I have clients that are like that. And so if you're one of those people, you're thinking, they're saying one thing, I don't have one thing, I have 10 things, or I'm doing all of these things. I still think this is a good space for you, for us to actually have a conversation. I'll be able to filter through the noise and be able to help you understand where your energy is best spent, just by identifying what really fills your cup and what really fits into your big picture. So those are some of the things that we can also help you do. Hello, Moji. Hi. We have Deputy Governor candidate watching us right now. Hi, Moji. So it's one of those things. If you're there in the audience, you're thinking, I don't have one thing, you've got a number of things, it's still a good place to start.
Yeah. And it reminds me of, I don't know who said it, that said you can do everything, but not at the same time. And I think that's where people struggle, because I'm that person who likes to do multiple things, but now I know myself. So I know that maybe I might be able to do 1, 2, 3 things at the same time, but give me 5, 6 and I'm doing none. Even the 1, 2, 3, I'm not even touching those. Like, I'm just like, let's just watch Netflix and chill. And so I think there's nothing wrong with being multi-talented. I think God gave everybody multiple talents. Like, I think that's the way we're just created. But again, I think the point is not overwhelming yourself trying to do everything at once. And be kind to yourself. Stop thinking that, because you're not focusing on all 10, that you're failing. No, decide, my capacity is I can only do one thing well at a time. Focus on that one thing. Give it energy for 2 years and then come back and look at the other things. Life is short, but life is long. Like, if you say the average person lives for like 80 years, that's a freaking long time for you to accomplish. There are things I still want to do that I know I'm still going to do in my lifetime, but I might dwell in on it right now. No, because there's still time. And if I die, that's okay. That's fine. At least I've lived a good life so far. So it's that, be kinder to yourself, know your capacity, be more self-aware of what you can and what you can't do. And then prioritize. You want to do 5 different things. What can I do right now? Again, if you do something that's only sucking and draining you, you're still not going to be fulfilled at the end of the day anyway. So balance is so key. Where you're maybe doing things that are chasing money and all that, you still also need to be doing things that are filling your cup. If you can get paid to fill your cup, that's the beauty of life. When work no longer feels like work and you can do it for free and you're getting paid, that is fantastic. But if you're focusing on the things that are just draining you, taking your blood, but it's giving you some financial security, whatever it is, then you still need to find ways to fill your cup. So I think at every point in time, if where your cup is being filled pays your bills, fantastic. If not, always find that balance. What pays the bills and what fills my cup? And then the rest,
Yeah.
there's time. Time will come for you to focus on some of those other things.
I'm excited though. I'm excited for 2023. I think I'm going to start doing some videos to count down to Christmas. I like the run up to Christmas. I don't like Christmas Day. I like the whole festivity and everything going on, and it's fun. Because Christmas Day always feels to be like an anticlimax. Like, okay, now it's done. I don't like it.
Oh, it feels
I
it's
don't
like
like
the
the
end.
day.
It feels like the end.
Yeah, it feels like an end of something. But I like the run up to it when we're, doing all of these activities and everything is so festive and people are so, in such great. This is my best, my favorite season of the year. But on Christmas Day is when it ends for me. It's like, oh, it's over now, and we're all going back to the reality of it. So I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I really like the run up on Christmas Day. I'm like, oh, okay,
It's
now
over.
it's over. Yeah,
It's
I don't like Christmas Day itself. I
yeah.
like Christmas season.
Yes. So that's why they call it the holiday. So it's everything around it. And yeah, like if you live in the US, then you don't even get Boxing Day off. So like Christmas Day is really the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So 26 you're back at work. And that's it.
Ooh, ooh.
So
That's
it's
not
all
fun.
it's the build up, So Christmas
Yeah,
is
it's
the
a
end
build up. Yeah,
for a lot
it's a
of
build
people.
up.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like someone actually posted on one of my posts from 2 days ago and said, I said, this is the best time of the year. And he said, why is it the best time of the year? Like I'm just like, oh my God, there's good grouchy people in this world. It's been a long year. Like for me, December is
Yeah.
when you need to start slowing down. Like don't go starting new projects in December and say, oh, I've made 900 million. I want to make the last 100 million in December. Calm down. Okay. For me, December is like you're saying, it's a festive season. It's all about kindness, love, and giving. Just tap into that. Rejuvenate yourself, rejuvenate your mind, so you can start to really enjoy self-care, self-reflection. Just celebrate yourself. I've made it this far this year. Take stock, because sometimes we always think that we haven't accomplished anything. I think it was maybe last year or 2 years ago was the first time I said, I'm going to sit down and actually make a list of everything that I was thankful for the year. And by the time I got to number 100, I was like, wow, okay, maybe I need to go and do Thanksgiving in church or something. And you know how they dance, I'd be like, whoa. But if I just sat down up to my head, I was like, oh, what did I even do this year? It would be so easy to just say, yeah, maybe I accomplished one or two things, but it wasn't a big deal. But really spend the time, write it down. Just write it down, write it, or put it on your phone. And then you'll see that you have a lot to be thankful for. So for me, that's what the season, that's what the season means to me. It's a time to just celebrate myself, celebrate everybody, celebrate humanity. We've been fighting ourselves January to November. Okay, let's just love ourselves this month. We can start the war in January, but for now, let's just chill. Let's just have fun. Let's just enjoy. Let's just be more aware, be kinder to people, support courses. Just, yeah.
And you're right. That's one of the reasons I did what I did in the morning. So it's just a time to be supportive and contribute to causes. I do think that, hi Oluwati, Toing, good to see you. I do think that actually when you take time to take stock, it helps to put things in perspective. Because many times you're so focused on what is in the moment and what happened last week and what happened 3 or 4 weeks ago, you're not able to look at it holistically. So you need to really be intentional about taking stock. I agree, yes. Chini, come up. It's self-love. Take time to really just look back at the things that happened. I know this is very cheesy, right? But there was a phrase that somebody used to use when I was in uni, and they would say, oh, just thank God that you're in a sanctuary and not in a mortuary. And people just laugh it off and go away. And I used to say to myself, oh, that's such a rhyme. But there are days that you really take a step back and you ask yourself, all the things I'm chasing. It's like this. Like I have close friends who've lost loved ones that they were planning their wedding. Like young person, after all the talk, chase family and talk, they finally found the man they're in love. He's about to, eat rice and a few months before, boom. There is no clock to it. It's giving meaning to your life in the moment and living, be present and enjoy being present and contribute where you can contribute, but be present and stop thinking about the next thing. I had to learn that. My goal, I went downstairs to look at my, I'm trying to to find an old computer for my little brother. So I went down to go and look, and I saw an old diary, and I was opening it, and I saw 2015, 2016, and I'm like, oh. And I was looking at some of the goals, and I was just looking at myself, you know what? These things have happened the way, and I don't even remember talking about it or even acknowledging about them actually happening, you know. And there was one in 20, I think it was 2018. There was a single goal, which was I wanted to live in the present, and I wanted to stop chasing more. Because I felt that I wasn't enjoying success. You do things and everyone's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, it's great, but I'm thinking about the next. It's great, but I'm thinking about the next. I'm thinking about the next, thinking about the next. And I hope that, you know, a lot of people said with COVID, things came into perspective for them and they realized it's not about the next. So sometimes your goals doesn't have to be something specific or the next thing, the next thing. It might just be, actually, I don't want to chase anything next. I just want to live and be present and really just enjoy, see what life feels like without having something else that I want to tick against. That was my goal in 20, I think it was 2019. That was it. I just wanted to be present and enjoy and just don't chase the next thing, you know, and it really did help because that's what I said all of my self-love, self-care. When I go and get the service done, I book the next one. So it's not that, oh, I'll call you, no.
And then before I leave, I book the next any space. So yeah, forget about it.
You know, so I book the next one 6 weeks after, 4 weeks after. It's like, you know, just being intentional about it. And it has become a habit now. That whole idea, like you said, of self-love, self-care. Yeah. Our society tells you that, you know, people are always doing better. So what next? What next? Sometimes it's okay to sit there and rest in your laurels, enjoy it a little bit, and then obviously you can pick up and go. I'm not saying that you're that person that's always telling us about the past. Oh, many years ago, you know them. I used to be, you know them. You know them. I'm not asking you to be that person. Me back in the day. That's not what I'm asking you about, right? It's okay to celebrate it, but it's just time to move on to the next one. It's time to move on to the next. But it doesn't take away from the satisfaction and the fulfillment of what you've actually achieved in a particular moment. Yeah. So it's what I wanted to just share.
And Louisa was saying that every day is a gift, but a lot of people don't see days as a gift.
That's why it's called the present now.
Is my birthright? Okay, yes, it's another day. Where's the gift? They're still looking for the gift within the day. So when you say to people, what did you accomplish? You say, this week, nothing happened. But they haven't really sat down to really think about the week. First of all, you made it through the week. But then if you really, really take stock, really, you will see that there were things that happened to you that were quite magical. Things that were other people might consider a miracle. But you're just like, you know.
It's entitlement. It's that entitlement.
So I'm entitled to a day, then I'm also entitled to a proper gift every day. Come and bless me with something. Nobody has blessed me. This, that, they're always looking to external for internal satisfaction and validation and happiness. It really doesn't work that way. And I think that being present is something that most people struggle with. And I would just say, I know I still struggle with it because sometimes like my thoughts are just going, we all have 60, 70,000 thoughts a day. And then when I catch the thoughts, I'm just like, well, hey, why are you thinking about that nonsense? Like, who cares? Like, and you're just like, I need to catch myself like, why? Why am I living in the past or why am I living in the future? It is so hard to be in the present and really just look around you and be like, wow. Some people don't even know whether the clock in their living room is still working. Some people don't know the color of the wall. They don't know because they don't see any of these things. It's just like, is it not this my house? I want a bigger house. Other people have bigger houses. So people are changing their car this Christmas. Oh, can you just be present and just really just look around you and just be thankful, just be grateful for life, for family, for the friends that you have. You saw a new week, some of the projects that you worked on at work, some of the personal projects that you worked on. Maybe you came up with a new cake design. Maybe you got a text from one of your clients that said, God, you just changed my life or something you did. How about you just live in that moment and just enjoy it and be grateful and stop thinking about things that you don't have yet.
An exercise I actually do that has helped me to be present is I actually help other people count their own blessings. And how I do that is when I'm on the road, when I see the way people are driving, I shake my head and say, hey, that was just a gift for you. That could have been you on the, off the barrier, just like that. Because the way you see the way people are going, I'm like, And they will ask you, do you have any testimony? Or you say, no, nothing has happened today. You don't understand how close you were, to being gone, or how close you were to being in an accident or having this sudden liability come show up. So sometimes I do that when I'm like, hey, that was a gift right there. That's a blessing right there. And it's kind of helped me in the beginning to really try and, also find my own gifts as I see the opportunities for other people. So when I drive someone, I drive back, I'm like, oh, wow, that was such a gift. Because I don't know what's happening behind me. There could have been many things that could have happened, so many simulations of what could have happened. So in that moment, I'm like, oh, that was just a gift, being able to go and come back in a particular sense. So I do think it's if you struggle with finding your own gifts and counting, start by identifying it when you see it around you with other people. It would also help you to bring it home to yourself. I think it does. I think it does.
Yeah, I think that's very
Yeah.
key. Being able
My
to.
gift to myself today was I was able, all my busyness, I was able to come get change my nail polish.
Well, those are
All
things that are
Christmas.
very important to you. So, like for you,
Yes, sir.
that's one of the things. That's one of your self-care,
Yeah,
self-love
all very
routines for the
important.
year. So you take it seriously. But some people, and again, I think they say you can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. Some people are so busy taking care of everybody else and not taking care of themselves. And
Mm.
then the resentment sets in because like, I spent all my money taking care of all these ingrates. They're not grateful. They're not this. They're not that. You
And they didn't
know.
ask you for it.
Yeah. And then when people say, did I ask you? You get upset. But I was trying to help you. But did I ask you? Really? You could have said no. So I think for people who are over givers, it's good to give, but give to yourself first. Like make sure you're taking care of number one because you are number one. You really, your cup has to be full before you start pouring into other people, just so that resentment doesn't set in. So I really want this December, because for me, that's what December means. December is a time of love, self-love, and love to the world, reflection, a lot of gratitude. Just be grateful for everything that's happened to you. Take stock, write it down, get a piece of paper, write it down, everything that you are thankful for this year. And you'll be surprised that you have way more things to be thankful for. And then with that gratitude, as you start to look into 2023, I like to create vision boards because I feel like most times you need to be able to see. If you can't see it in your mind, you really can't see it in your hands. That's a proctor face actually. And so vision boards is a very simple way for you to plan the things that you want for the year, for the quarter, whatever it is. But it's a visualization exercise where you think about, okay, work-wise, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish? Relationship-wise, what are some of the things you want? Is it vacations? Is it things to do with your health? Whatever it is. And then it's very simple. So you decide what it is you want, grab some scrap magazines, old magazines, and just that, again, you have to set the right intention. So you start going through the magazines, and then whatever images that you see that really resonates with the things that you want, just cut it out, put it on a board somewhere in your room, in your bedroom, where you can keep seeing it. So that as you go through the year, you're constantly looking at the vision board, and then you're creating some form of emotional connection with it. That is really the trick. Some people say, oh, but I've done vision boards and they never work. Well, there was no emotional connection with it. You need to connect emotionally with your vision board. Every time you look at it, just like, wow, this is the house I want to live in. This is the kind of house I'm going to live in. This is the car I'm going to be driving. This is the type of relationship I'm going to have. This kind of job I'm going to have. These are some of the vacations I'm going to go to. And just start that way. But for me, it starts with gratitude. Be grateful for all that you have today. Set the right intention. And go ahead and create this beautiful, it could be a physical, it could be a digital vision board to help you plan for the new year.
I am a very big advocate for digital ones because we spend a lot of time on our phones. And so I think that you spend more time looking at your phone than you do anywhere else in your room or on the wall.
What's on your wallpaper? What's on your phone wallpaper?
My phone wallpaper right now?
Yeah.
My phone wallpaper right now is blank. There's nothing. It's blank.
See?
It's blank.
But
it is blank.
Yeah. So a lot of people,
yeah.
they put these things on their wallpaper, and I've done that. But what I found is that after a while, even when I look on my phone, I don't see it. It's there, but I don't see it.
No, but you don't see it because you become conditioned to, you just blur it up. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Mine is blank at the moment.
When it's on your wall in your bedroom, because I do both. When it's on your wall in your bedroom, every time I look at it, then I'm like, ooh, then I spend a few seconds or minutes and just dream. I think it's called the law of assumption or whatever. You just dream and just imagine, like, wow.
Yeah, bring it into feeling, eh?
It'll be great to have all of this. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
that's a If
I
you've
think
never heard of
you've
this.
nailed it in the sense of the emotional connection, because there is a fad out there. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon of doing something without understanding the intentionality behind it and the why behind it. So when I hear vision board, I know that people, oh yeah, well, let's go do it. What do you do in December? It's what you do in January. But that whole understanding of the emotional connection is what people don't understand, and what it's supposed to do for you in the sense of not only visualizing, but then bringing the feeling, because the feeling is your emotion, right? Where the energy comes in to then begin to help you get into that particular space. But one of the things that I think a vision board would be good for me if I did it physically is the space where I put it. It has to be right across from my bed, because it was really the last thing I see at night. Because I've come to understand that if I can look at it and take it in and begin to feel that way before I go to sleep, well, before my conscious mind goes to sleep, then I can let my subconscious play with it all night, and which is where I really want to be. But again, I had done this before, didn't understand the connection to it and
Yeah,
what I needed to do to make it work for me. But now that I do, definitely is something that I'm
yeah,
going to do. But where I place it is most important of all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they always say right before you go to bed or first thing in the morning when you wake up. Those are because you're like in that semi-conscious state, and that's when you can really plant all the seeds into your subconscious mind that will go ahead and create the life that you want. So getting into that practice of before you sleep, don't start thinking about all the problems that you had for the day. Don't. That's just not a good way to go to bed.
You're gonna have more of it,
Before
more
you
of
go to
it.
bed is when you're like, be in gratitude, and then set your intentions, dream about the things that you want, the things that you desire, and then go to bed. That's how you go to bed. And when you wake up, don't wake up with problems. Don't wake up and just say, oh my God, this email's my boss already. No, that's not the right way to
Listen,
wake up either.
if there's anything I have learned, and even it became so true today, was I said to you guys when I came on about how I had to do this piece of work, and I had a meeting very early to deliver the work, right? Or deliver what I committed to. And in the time that I slept, I woke up twice because in my dream, I had done the presentation.
Mm.
And when I woke up, I realized that, oh my God, I haven't done it, but in my sleep, I had done it twice, and one was in a presentation setting, one was actually in person with like a megaphone. I don't even know where that scenario came from. But your subconscious can build on things that you feed it. And so basically, when I jumped out of my bed, I found out that I had 40 minutes to my presentation. But if I had stayed in, I actually thought that happened because I had visualized it so much that when I slept, it was all that was going through my mind. I even had different different scenarios. One was proper boardroom presentation. The other one was then like a megaphone outdoorsy. That was when I woke me up because it just didn't feel right. That was the one that woke me up. It just didn't feel right. But ultimately, what I'm getting at is, it's when you fed your mind just before you went to bed, what you were chewing on. So my subconscious was just playing with it and building on it, in that particular case. So I am I am such an advocate, and I so agree with that whole idea of the last thing you feed your mind is what is going to give birth to all the way through. So if you focus on your problems, focus on disappointment, focus on the things that anger you, you will wake up angry. You'll just be grumpy and say, I'm not a morning person. It's a lie. You're a morning person. It's just that the energy and everything that you woke up in is not a great one. But if you had gone to bed before you went to bed, you were, in a space of gratitude, you were in a space of thankfulness, and you were in a space of living and thinking about your future that you want, and you were actually marinating yourself in what I will feel like before you slept. When you wake up, you'll feel great before you realize that, oh, nothing has really changed physically. But that moment you wake up feeling good, thinking, oh, I'm so excited. And then you think, oh, hold on. What am I going to say? That it's not yet, in the physical, but it felt like it had already happened. I have done it either way. I know that is exactly how it works. So
Yeah.
if you're that person and you wake up and you think, I'm not a money person, I'm just grumpy in the morning. How did you sleep at night? What were you thinking about
Well,
before you slept?
yeah. And so I want to encourage everybody or challenge people. If you've never done this before, just before you go to bed, don't just crawl into bed or be watching TV and fall asleep. No. We're talking about this. You have to be intentional about it. You go to bed, quiet in the place, darken the place, so you're read up your phone, and just stay in that space. It only takes a couple of minutes. You just be grateful. deep breaths, just calm yourself down, calm your mind down. Just be thankful, be grateful for the day and some of the things that happened to you. And then go back to your vision board. Think about the things. What would my life look like? How would I feel to live in this house? How would I feel to live in this country? How would I feel to have this business, to have this amount of money, to look this way, to be slim in my case? Whatever it is, just imagine what it feels like and let that be how you drift off into your sleep for the day. And then come back and comment on this video. Let us know how you felt when you woke up. If you woke up like,
Exactly.
is it Monday?
But I will put money. I will put money on it. It's not possible for you to feel that way when you wake up. If you feel that way when you wake up, then that's how you went to sleep. I have tested it both ways. Yeah, I have. Yeah. So I will agree with you. I know we're coming about to top of the hour. Guys, we will continue to hold this space. We'll continue to have these sessions. It is open to you to raise your hand and come up. As I was explaining earlier, this is a commitment that we have made, and so we'll continue to live into it. Although we don't have to have a conversation. Next week I'll be in a very noisy place. So we will have a conversation about how that's going to work, but I definitely want to live into the commitment itself. But it is always going to be here. Take the opportunity whilst you have it. If you're going through your week, something comes up, remember that there's this space that you can bring it to, we can have a conversation. And like I said last week, if you prefer to be anonymous and just send a message through and we can really discuss and debate it, then please send it through anonymously in a particular sense. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, but reach out and tap into the expertise that is being offered, tap into the network of people that are also, watching this, that might be willing to say one or two things into your situation and might actually be able to help you. So don't just leave it and let it go to waste. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No more days of, oh, nobody helps me, I have no support. No, now you have the support. Now you have people that want to help you bring your dreams to fruition. We may not have all the answers, like Mimi's saying, but definitely there are always people on that can help you, that can come and give you advice as well. And
you're welcome, Jimmy.
It's a space. We're just holding space for you. This is about you guys, not about us. We share our stories because, hey, we're not perfect. We're still learning. So like maybe we're so vulnerable today and just sharing. Like we still have things that we're trying to work through, but in these conversations, that's how we get better. We support each other, iron sharpened iron, and we keep growing together. My dream is for everybody to be successful, for everybody to be happy, for everyone to have all their dreams come true. That is my dream and my goal. And if we can help one person, 2 people, 100 people, then that is fantastic because you're helping us too. So
yes, you are.
So it's two-way. Yeah.
On a lighter note, before we round up, guys, if you're raising Gen Z, listen. If you're raising Gen Z, you're a parent out there. I'm serious. This is very, very important.
This is very personal.
This is very personal. You need to teach them about living into their commitments. Forget. And when you get cold feet, you need to teach them about to ask for help and just be vulnerable and say, listen, I want to come, but I don't know if I'm qualified. Is that still okay for me to come? Right? Do not make a commitment and just don't show up. And then don't even say a note. Or make a commitment and then on the hour when they're expecting you, you not reply with a single line saying, oh, thank you so much, I'm no longer interested. How dare you? Like people, if you're raising Gen Z, please teach them better. Manners. Manners. This is so important to me. Anyway, that's it.
All right, parents of Gen Zs, hey, you heard from Mimi. Manners. Let them have manners. Yeah.
Manners.
But again, integrity these days, yeah. Well, even some older people, it's the same. I think it's all personal values. We can do better. Some people don't know, so if you know better, you do better. But again, that's why we have conversations like this, so that you can reflect personally, not to call anybody out, but at least from these conversations, you can, hey, is that me? Do I do that too? Oh, I need to do better. Because when you know better, you do better.
You do better. Sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Joan, for holding this space. I'm glad I could join that day, sometime 10, 15 minutes into it, but always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right. See you all next week. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.